Art students, Brian Proctor, the art teacher, back again with another video. And I apologize for taking some time off because I'm working hard on my new title, my comic book, and I'm going to try and get it crowdfunded. So stay tuned for that. There, I'll give more information as we go. And also, I have been working on my merch shelf. If you look down below, you'll see my merchandise shelf with all my t-shirt designs, but I have a lot more t-shirt designs to come. But check that out. Click on one of them and go to the store and check out some of the things that I have. I'm working hard to use my talents. As we go along, I will encourage you guys and show you guys how to use your talents to make you some money as well. Don't just sit there and draw Batman and show it off. Just start drawing some stuff that's going to make you money. But we'll talk about that in future videos. Right now, we're talking about a fight scene. We're going to do a fight scene. How to do a fight scene and how it works. Something like that. So, without further ado, let's get on to the video because I got a lot of stuff to cover. So, let's go to the drawing table. All right, so I'm going to draw a fight scene and I'm going to break it down. I'm going to start it and then I'm going to cut to how you can put the fight scene together, and then I'm going to finish the actual drawing of the fight scene. So first of all, a fight. What is a fight? So let's get definition for a fight. Computer, what is a fight?
As a noun, fight is usually defined as a battle or combat. As a verb, fight is usually defined as to engage in battle or in single combat, attempt to defend oneself against or to subdue, defeat, or destroy an adversary. For more, ask me to give you more definitions for fight.
Okay, so now that we know the definition of a fight, there are several ways you can fight. You can fight hand to hand, you can fight with a weapon or an object. So what we're going to do is a hand-to-hand fight, but let me zoom in just a little bit more since I'm really zoomed out. All right, that's pretty good. I like to kind of see the edges of my paper. I don't like to not see the edges. All right, so I'm going to start this fight scene and I'm going to probably speed it up afterwards. So I'm going to get the rough of it and then just kind of show you, basically, hopefully keep it on the paper. And I'm going to break it down and show you how I came about getting this whole thing. Because if you're doing a comic book, more than likely you're going to be doing a fight scene somewhere, unless it's a romantic comedy or something. But then there's always a fight even in romance, especially in romance. So it's better to just, stick with comic books. So as I said, this is really rough, and I'm going to speed draw like detail. Because when I show you, or when I get this started, you'll kind of understand. So let's do the hero. And the one thing about doing this, stuff like this is, or drawing the body from angles, is just basically you're stacking shapes together. And I will show you that in a second to make it easy, because we still have a lot of people that are saying, they can't get the body right. And the body is just, I think it's like, I had it in my book, it's like 25 different pieces to stack up. So you get the gist of what's happening here. So the question would be, how did I come up with that? So let me go to my little friend, my actual drawing board. And yes, I'm drawing with a pencil because I have my overhead light, so there should be no more, there's no glare. Usually there's a lot of glare when I draw with a pencil. So let me go to my little setup that I have and show you guys how I came up with this, or how you can come up with a fight scene. You might not necessarily want to do this type, but there's so many ways that you can do fight scenes. It's pretty much just unlimited amounts. All right, so let's go over here and I'll show you a little bit more. All right, so I repositioned my camera, and first of all, let me tell you about this thing. This thing is like just a rotating table. I really don't know what they call it, but I would highly recommend that you buy one. I'll leave the link in the description. It's flip it to both sides. And it is really, really, spend your money on it. I think it's about $12, something like that, 12, 14. I mean, it's not expensive, but the purpose of that is so that you can place your figures. And let me pull back. As soon as I get these guys set up, I took them off the stand. So you should always have a stand, or buy a figure with a stand. Hopefully she will stay without the stand. So the first thing you want to do when you get a fight scene is the fight scene is going to be between 2 or more people. So in your head, you have to say, where's my camera going to be positioned? I can, move this up, down, or around, or whatever, but I'm going to basically kind of leave it here. So you want to get your eye line of where you're going to see it. Then you're going to imagine how you're going to place your figures. How will they be standing in front of each other, next to each other? I'm turning slow because I know she's going to fall. And this is the great thing for this type of table. I don't think you won't find it in art supplies. I think it's, I don't know, kitchen supplies or something. But once you get the name, once I put the name up here, you'll understand what it is. So in your mind's eye, this is exactly what you're going to be doing. You're going to be seeing where you place your people, where your eye line is going to be at, what is going to be the best possible shot for doing this fight scene. Then you take your position, which I have 2 other figures that I have positioned. This is why I used the guy and the girl. I thought I had four guys, but I only have 3 guys. So after that, you imagine your position. If you don't have figures, figures are wonderful reference. As I said, reference is your best friend. Reference is your husband. Reference is your wife. Get you some kind of figures of reference instead of going out buying, $250 worth of Nikes shoes that you're just going to wear and get dirty. Buy you something that's going to help you develop your talents. So I positioned these 2 guys earlier, trying to figure out what's a good position. And it's great, as I say, if you buy figures with a stand, because it just helps. So these figures, they are fairly good, but they don't move. Like your shoulders are stiff here, which this hand could actually come more around, but your real shoulder will scrunch up. So he would lean before. He's not doing it now. I don't know why. That's the problem and I don't want him that way. All right, so I did a little last minute cast change because the black figure was not really picking up. It was not really grabbing the light like he should have, like I wanted to. So I just switched up. I took his hands off and replaced it, put it on this guy because I didn't feel like looking through the box of tools. So anyway, he could have power fist or gloves or whatever. So as I was saying, what you do is you kind of just go through different positions that you might like. And then if you have the figures, which I say, spend money on yourself. The holidays are coming. If you have a birthday or anniversary, or you got somebody that was willing to spend money on you or ask you, what do you want, for this day? Tell them, hey, I would like this kind of drawing figures or this kind of a tablet or pad, depending on how much money you have. If you have a job, start putting money away to get you some stuff, because if this is your goal, you want to spend money on yourself. So back to this, you kind of figure out how you want your figures to be positioned. Now in the drawing, I turned him around. I turned him over like that a little bit, but he won't stay for whatever reason. I'm not gonna fight him. And then you take the hit. You figure out how the guy's going to be hit. He's going to go back. Now in the drawing, he's going further back, but doing just for time constraint and this stand giving me trouble. I don't want to do too much. And then you kind of position them. So you say, okay, that's my basic position. So let me turn this around a little bit more just to see if I can get, a better position. Maybe I've seen the last panel had the hero's face in it. So now I want to see the bad guy get beat down. So let me pull this a little closer. And this turntable, I believe it's called a turntable. It's just a wonderful thing to have because you can go around and you can do multiple positions or poses. But as I say, all your figures are a little stiff, because they're plastic and the joints don't move like humans. But you can get pretty close to a nice pose. And then you just add a little more bend or twist or tilt to it to make it look more dramatic. Like, that's not too bad. If I lowered this guy, you're drawing one at a time, so if I lowered this guy a little bit more, it would work better for camera purposes. And then if you have a camera, take a picture of it. Take a picture of, how you want it, and then draw from that. Draw from that your photograph reference. And then let's just zoom in a little bit more, just to get more dynamic. I don't need the feet. Maybe you say you don't want the feet, and you just want this. So there you go with that. And I can actually bring this guy closer or further, but it would be good if I brought him down. But just for reference sake, this is what you have. And these are, what are these? These are Bodycoon Bandai, from Bandai. I'll leave a link to, if I can. These are hard to find. Now they give you a bunch of knockoffs that are nowhere near close to this. So don't think you can find this for you see this and it's $25 or $12 or $15. These things, the last time I checked, they were like $110, if I'm not mistaken. So you have to get the original ones if you want something close to being right. All right, so let's head back to the drawing table. All right, so here we are back at the drawing table. Got my two figures on the side, and you see that I turned and twisted it a little bit. Let me get this guy here. So in the camera, however this is, I have the shoulder, which is closer to that face, which was going to be, this is angled down, and he's leaning down more. It's hard to show this in the camera. He's leaning down more to give it more of a dynamic pose, along with this guy here who's flying back. I have him more this way, where you can just see the line come over the top of his body. And of course, you can always adjust the arms. You can foreshorten that. This arm can go, way back here. But you want to position your character or your hit person to where that impact, it looks like it was a hard enough impact to throw that person or to knock that person in whatever position you choose to put him in. So before I go to the speed drawing, let me show you what I was saying about the body being pieces. And once you master that, because I always say, master your shapes. If you have not mastered your shapes, then you're not going to be able to actually draw correctly. So you have your head, you have your torso, you have your waist, you have your, let me turn this light on because it is a lot of glare. That one looks good. You have your, whatever that is. I can never think of that shape. You have your upper legs, your knee, your lower, which I just do triangles. And you have your feet, which are half a triangle. So basically, these are all shapes. And you need to be able to take these shapes and turn them left, right, and stack them. Where's my two objects that I was going to use? I had this and a square. So basically, if you have these two shapes and you put them on top of each other, you have to know what it's going to look like when you start to tilt it. That's just it, and turn it. So every shape that you have, you're going to have to be able to turn it. So let's just take the simplest one, this, which is a rectangle. And as you turn it, it's going to become more of an, you know, me and these shapes, I want to say oval, but it'll hit me later. So the more you turn it, the rounder it's going to get, until it's just a circle that you're just looking down on top of it. So if I had to put this on top of this, it would go like this. And this is more oval, but when you take your figure and you turn him to where you're seeing, yeah, that's great. When you're seeing the top, it's gonna have more of a shape like this. Let me get this out my way. Try not to dump more trash on top of it. It's gonna have more of a shape like this. This, I use an oval, but as I say, once I get to where I'm seeing his head, he's looking down at me, I'm gonna get more of this shape right here. Here's the shoulder. You know, if he's just straight, if I'm just straight looking down, and that's gonna be the feet. And then you're just gonna see the muscles in the chest, the shoulder or the traps, the chest, the delt, and you know, maybe a little bit of an arm. So let me take one of these guys and straighten them out to show you. As I say, I use this part more of an oval. But when you start to turn him over, he takes on this shape right there. So if I'm looking straight down on him, that's all you're going to see. You know, and if I put the feet, if I stand them up, you're going to see just a bit of the feet, depending on the camera, the angle of the camera, or the angle that you draw them on. So just remember that you're taking these shapes, you're stacking these shapes, and then you're learning how to draw these shapes when you turn it over like this one. It's going to be the same thing. You're going to have this, this, and this. So if I put this on top of that, or if I put that shape on top of that, something tells me I need to do a marker. So I have this shape initially. So this goes all the way back. So if I'm going to put this piece on top of that, so it's going to be like this. And if I'm going to put that piece on top of that, it's going to be like this. So it's just being able to manipulate your shapes and seeing your shapes. And then this part comes down. And so the more you see this, or the more that this is turned over, the more of a V this is going to take. And I go through that on so many of my videos. So that's how you tell, because this is round and this is kind of turned up. So this has to be turned up too, because remember, the more you turn it over, the more it's going to take that shape. Then the head is going to be here, the neck is going to be there, your traps, your delt, and then you just do the rest of your body, because this is round, so your chest is going to come here, add a little more shape to it. Your abs are going to be round just like that, going around just like that, and your legs. So when you start to lift your person up, the legs are just going to get shorter. That's all. It's just going to get shorter. So instead of drawing this, you draw a shorter version of that. Same thing. Your knee is going to be tucked under here. Let's say I bent this. So when I turn it, the knee gets tucked up under this part of the leg. So you're not going to see as much knee. And then when you're doing your other part of your leg, same thing. You're just going to make it shorter. And then you do your foot. And that's how you start to lean shapes over. Same thing when you twist them and so forth. But leaning, you're just putting stuff on top of it and just bringing it over. You just got to know what it looks like when you bring it over. All right, so I'm going to finish this drawing, and I'm going to do speed drawing. Kind of like this with the black gloves, the black fist. I think I'll put the other hands on the black figure. Just something different for me. All right, so I'm going to speed this up, and if I can think of something that I need to actually tell you guys, I will stop and tell you. So, okay, here we go, speed drawing. All right, so there you go. This is a quick ink and a cover up to fix my mistake right there. But this is exactly what you would do for your fight scenes. See it in your head, get your eye line, spin it around to do the best angle that you can, or the angle that you want. Draw it up, and it's best to draw it up on some scratch sheets first, you know, just so you can get it. Don't just, I'm the type of, well, I'll just start drawing. I'll draw on my paper, and then I actually looking for a thing. Like I'll give you, this is like one of the preview pages from my comic, the comic that I'm working on now. You know, I'll just go up and I'll draw it in there, and then I'll just do it. See, some people draw it like 4 and 5 times and then put it on there. Some people do a light table. Me, I just draw it and then I'll just get it right. That's just me. But, you know, do your thing, do your thing. So that's going to be it for this. And yeah, before you ink, make sure you have everything, your proportions and so forth, right? And then I did a heavy line weight because he's closer, he's further back. I could have done some extra line weight on like some of the curves, just to, you know, bring out the curves to make it a little better. But, you know, if I keep going, I'll actually go into a whole new video. So that's going to be it. I can't think of anything else that I wanted to say. Hopefully I covered it all. If not, I'll try to bring it back up in the next video. And as I said, check out below in the description my merch shelf where you can get some of my t-shirts. And I'm you know, uploading, you know, every few days because I have so many different designs that I have for like years before they had kind of printing where you had to go to the regular print shop and print 1 or 2, and you know, that costs an arm and a leg, but now you can print on demand type of thing. So I'm getting all those up, and as I say, I have my book fundraising and a few more things that I'll cover in some other videos. So that's going to be it. And we'll continue to do some more fight scenes and more action poses at the same time. So, all right, I will see you guys in the next video. I just almost choked. Stay tuned.